So Candace, if we can't all go travel around the world just yet, even though I feel like if we prioritized it, maybe we could, but what do we do to start to find inner peace?
Wow. Well, this is a great question, Casper. It really is a process that is going to be uniquely different for everyone. So I often say this in my work as well. It pains me when I see clickbait and quick fixes because it's bullshit. It's not going to work in a second. It's not always going to be some aha moment. You're not all going to find, like, it's nearly impossible for one guru to tell a room full of 1,000 people that got duped out of all this money to tell you that their way of doing things is the way. I think the more I've studied Buddhism and also, Christianity and practices way beyond us, like we're talking thousands of years of civilization and how actually simple life is. It's breath work, it's sleep, it's going for a workout, it's knowing, the practice, like I said, of knowing is so simple to know that you will not be the last person, nor were you the first person to go through what you are going through right now. As painful as it is, all the people that have wronged you, it will continue for as long as humans will exist. These things will continue, and your situation may be unique to you, but you are not alone. And I think that just the comfort in knowing sometimes brings people this inner peace, knowing that it is broken often, especially by our overusage of technology. I am included in that. And I would love for people to know that I always say this too. I'm an imperfect person. I'm a horrible person. I am a monster. I am a total brat as well. I also wanted the Sega Genesis. I am all these things. I am also a wonderful person and kind and loving and very generous. And I can be all these things, and it is okay. It is okay. I often feel for people that get taped on the airplane having their freak out, because I'm like, that can be you and me too.
Yeah.
And why are we doing this to people when life is tough enough as it is? Can you give people more grace? Can you give people more patience? Can you listen to understand instead of responding? Can you look to the Four Noble Truths or the Eightfold Path? If you would like to look them up, they are very simple to look up. I obviously have them in the book Spirited, but Thich Nhat Hanh has a wonderful book called Being Peace. And I call it like the ultimate starter book for anybody who's just curious about Buddhism. It's more of a lifestyle and not a religion.
Yeah.
It is not dogmatic. And I never wrote the book so that I could tell people, like, be this, be that. No, come as you are, flaws and all, piece of shit and all. I could care less. In fact, if you're a wild person who did party a lot, I'll probably like you even more. Like there are a lot of layers to people that I find charming and graceful and fun. And if you're a dud, okay, cool too. I can have a conversation with anyone because I'm very interested in the human experience as a whole.
Yeah.
But I think that peace is something that we can all look to for different things. For me, I find it in animals like cats and dogs. Mm-hmm. I find it in flowers, and I find it often in the water, which is why I work so hard, is to always be by the water in some way and form and shape. And also what you said earlier, Casper, is right. We can practice gratitude, grace. The more I realize how much we have and how lucky we are, the better I feel about my life. When I'm on social, I will compare myself to other people. Mm-hmm. Whether I want to say to myself or realize that I'm even doing it or not is that trick that I think Buddha would not like social media at all, because he would say this is stupid. I often also think to myself, what if I told one of my monk friends in Japan, like Sasaki-san, or even I work with a reverend out there, Reverend Takafumi-san. What if I told them about the social media posts that were driving me crazy? Look at this girl. Who does she think she is? Look at this, look at this man. Ridiculous. This is fake. This is Photoshop. This is face-tuned. What if I told them those things? They would laugh in my face. And they would probably also think I was crazy, because we are. And so we really need to think about those things before you and I go and scroll, even though it's so easy to do. It's like how we all communicate now. I get it. But I also think we need to give ourselves a little bit more like space between the technology, and also know that you and I having a conversation right now is very real, and it can be deep and prolific. And for anyone hearing, I hope it serves as an ailment for you to know that Casper and I are also not perfect. And we both scroll, and breaking our inner peace happens every time we open up those apps. So my training, it would be great if I could get away from them even a little bit more.
Absolutely. I think everyone needs to acknowledge that there is a law of polarity, and that we all embody that, the yin and yang somewhat, that we're going to have hard day, good days, sad, happy, and we will break down and go into some things that probably aren't for the best of us, but we have the ability to jump back. And I think part of that is looking at attachment. On one side, we become attached to things, expect things, and then become a little bit unhappy with that, versus this idea and this concept that you bring up a good amount in the book of letting go. And it is one of my favorite books from David Hawkins called Letting Go. And, this art of just releasing things. And it's something that I've realized in my life when I was able to do it, when I let go of expectation, just allowed and didn't, paddle against, let's say, the currents of life, and just floated. Things turned out better. Things turned out, maybe not exactly as I wanted, but even maybe better than I wanted.